I've decided to do a series on why you're still single. A lot of us have become toxic people, not because we want to, just because something happened to us that we didn't have control over, we didn't know how to deal with, or we were too young to even know that we were manipulating other people. I don't want you to feel bad as long as we can work on it. Thank God we have him, because he is the one who can heal us. Before, I used to play the victim, but now I know that I'm not a victim anymore. Those things happened to me, but they didn't break me. In fact, I'm using those experiences to reach out to people. You see how God works? Something that the enemy meant for evil, God turned it around for my good. We speak about, daddy issues or generational curses, and these are the stuff that made me become a victim at the time. But today, God has healed me, and those experiences are no longer making me a toxic person, but it's making me someone who can help others. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm doing well by God's grace. If you're new here, hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Sergine and my channel is about motivating people becoming the best version of themselves. So please subscribe, guys. Take a second, subscribe. It's free, it wouldn't cost you anything. Like, share, follow me on Instagram so we can talk a lot more there and keep up with our daily routines and stuff. To my returning subscribers, I can never thank you guys enough for trusting me, for subscribing. We've hit 1,000 subscribers and we thank God for that, and I'm so super grateful. Anyways, today I'm back again with our relationship series. I believe this is like the last one. We'll see how we get on, but today we're going to talk about our relationship series on why you're single. And today the topic of why you're still single is that you are still single because you are attracting toxic people. Let's let that sink in. So how are you attracting toxic people? We're going to get into that in a moment. So if you want to know what today is all about, then stay tuned. So let's go. So like I said, today we're discussing why you keep on attracting toxic people. The first reason why you are attracting toxic people is because you are toxic. Now, before you judge me, before you click out of this video, give me a chance to explain myself. So one of the reasons why you're keeping on attracting toxic people is because you're simply toxic. There's something about you that is attracting those people who are toxic because they can identify with you, they can relate with you, they know how you operate. So you guys just attract each other and you're in a relationship. The second reason why you are attracting toxic people is because you may possess some traits or some qualities which makes you vulnerable and makes toxic people attracted to you. Now, I'm going to get into that in a bit. Now, we've identified two people, okay? The first one, you're attracting toxic people because you're toxic. The second one, you're attracting them because you've got some traits or some qualities that they need in other people so that they can live, breathe, and just live life. So I'm gonna get into it. Now, let me address the people who I think are toxic. The thing is, sometimes we can be toxic, but we don't know that we are toxic because we are so deep into it. And I think that word toxic is it's very harsh, and sometimes it's so hard for us to identify ourselves as toxic people because of just the word toxic, you know what I'm saying? So before I continue, I want to read you a definition of a toxic person that I found online. It says a person with toxic qualities is someone who's abusive, unsupportive, or unhealthy emotionally. These people can be manipulative, skilled liars, and great actors. They always play the victim and want others to feel sorry for them. Now, I can't see your heart, and I don't know what's going on in your heart. In fact, I can't see you, but you can see me. You are at the best position to identify these traits or these things that I've read. If you are that kind of a person, or if you behave sometimes like the person that I've just described, you are at the best position to tell yourself the truth, whether this is you or whether this is not you. There's no need for you to pretend to yourself, because right now you're watching me and me and you are connecting, and in your heart you know what I'm saying is true. You know that sometimes you can be a skilled liar. You know sometimes you want people to feel sorry for you. You make up stories and you emphasize certain things in your story or in your experiences in the past to make people feel sorry for you. Now you know that in your heart, okay? So now that we know that, let's move on. Now let me tell you something. I do not want you by any means to feel bad, to blame yourself, to beat yourself up if you've identified yourself as a toxic person. In fact, you know me well enough to know that I don't come on here if I've not experienced anything myself. There's been a time in my life where I've been a toxic person, okay? So first of all, anybody can be a toxic person because we all go through different life experiences that shape us, that change us. And some of us are innocent. Like a lot of the things that I've experienced as a child, or the heartbreak and the daddy issues and all these things, there are things that were beyond my control. I couldn't control a father walking out of my life. I couldn't control that. But that left an effect in my life that made me a toxic person. So first of all, I want to say, although there are people who choose to live that lifestyle, who choose to be victims, who choose to be manipulative, who enjoy being toxic people, there are also some of us that have experienced things that have made us toxic because we've gone through so much pain, but we've not dealt with the pain, we've not healed from the pain, so we become negative people because of what we've experienced. So don't feel sorry for yourself, don't feel bad. You went through something, it made you a toxic person, but who said we're not going to work on that? We can work on it because first of all, we're smart enough, we're honest enough, and we have God, and we're not by ourselves. Okay, so I got you, girl. Let me tell you something, yeah. I remember being so scarred with my father not being there in my life that I felt so sorry for myself. Every time I saw my friends being picked up by their dads, I was so sad because I was like, why can't my dad pick me up from school? Why am I the one that's always going back home with my cousins after school? Or my auntie will pick me up, or, my mom will pick me up. Like, why am I not like everybody else that have their daddy picking them up? After school, you see some of your friends running to their father, to hug them because they're so happy to see them. I wasn't one of those kids. So I felt so sorry for myself. And because of that, I also wanted people to feel sorry for me. So I remember for a long time, every time, like since when I was young, every time I start dating a guy or talking to a guy, I would be like, oh, my father was not there in my life. And because of that, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. And I was just saying that story all over again and again. And I'm telling you, like, I'm being so straight up with you. It was because I wanted people to feel sorry for me. I wanted them to know that, oh, there was something that happened to me. And because of that, you must love me. Because of that, you can't treat me bad because I'm already hurt. And I was being manipulative, but at the same time it wasn't something that was calculated. You know what I'm saying? Because there are people out here who are toxic people and they're calculative. They know what they're doing and they are aware of what they want from the other person. They take advantage of other people. In my case, it wasn't that I wanted to take advantage of other people. I just wanted people to feel sorry for me. But when I realized that I was that person, when I realized that that caused me to make myself vulnerable, because I ended up attracting people who also took advantage of me because I was vulnerable. You see how that works? I attracted people who were also toxic because I wanted them to feel sorry for me, and then realized, hold on a minute, she's vulnerable. I can take advantage of her. I can lie to her. I can make her feel loved. I can make her feel like she's all this and that to get whatever I want, but at the same time, I'm not really genuine. You see what I'm saying? So I was not planning on being a toxic person, and it was done out of innocence. It wasn't something that I planned, That's why I'm sharing, because some of us, a lot of us have become toxic people, not because we want to, not because we're calculating it or we're planning it, just because something happened to us that we didn't have control over, we didn't know how to deal with, or we were too young to even know that we were manipulating other people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to feel bad as long as we can work on it, as long as we can become better, as long as we can change that trait, okay? Thank God we have him, because he's the one who can heal us. He's the one that can mold us. He's the one that can change us. And today I feel so much different about those life experiences. Before I used to play the victim, but now I know that I'm not a victim anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor. Those things happened to me, but they didn't break me. They didn't change me. I'm still alive. In fact, I'm using those experiences to reach out to people, to help other people. You see how God works. Something that the enemy meant for evil, God turned it around for my good. And today I speak to a lot of you guys. We connect and we speak about, daddy issues or generational curses. And these are the stuff that I went through. These are the stuff that made me become a victim at the time, that made me be manipulative or made me become a toxic person. But today God has healed me, and those experiences are no longer making me a toxic person, but it's making me someone who can help others become the best version of themselves. So there is hope, okay? God can help you. God can heal you. I don't want you to look at yourself and feel like, oh my gosh, I can identify these things and I feel like I'm the worst person in the world. I don't really want to be a manipulative person. Because another thing is, you don't want to be a manipulative person. You don't want to be a toxic person, but you can't help your experiences. You can't help your heartbreak. You can't help people that come into your life to abuse you and hurt you. We don't plan for these things. So be nice to yourself and do something about it instead of you punishing yourself for something that you didn't have control over. However, the decision is yours. What you need to do is you need to identify those traits that you have, whether you're a skilled liar, whether you're the kind of person that likes to make people feel sorry for you, whether you're the kind of person that manipulates people. You need to be honest to yourself, identify those things and start working on them so that you can get rid of them. Pray for God to deliver you. Pray for God to flash those things out of your system so you can become the best version that you can be. It's not enough to just sit there and feel sorry for yourself. It's not enough for you to continue with those behavior as well. The best thing that you can do right now is to love yourself enough to identify those bad things and say to yourself, you know what? I no longer want to be a toxic person. I no longer want to be a liar. I no longer want to use people. I no longer want to manipulate other people. I no longer want to not support other people. I want to be the best version of myself. So I will get rid of those things. It will take time. It's hard work, but it will definitely pay off, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be attracting toxic people. You don't want to do that, because that's why your relationships are not working, right? Because you're ending up with people who are toxic, or you're too toxic for people to date. So they look at you and they think, nah, she's too much for me to deal with, and they walk away. Or you end up being with a person who's toxic as well, and the relationship is just toxic and it ends up not working. Now, that's not what we want. What we want is for us to be at the best shape mentally, physically, intellectually, so that we can be able to have and build healthy relationships. So right now, forget about dating for a minute and start dating yourself. You're not in a relationship. It's about compromising, isn't it? It's about the other person bringing the worst out of you sometimes. Sometimes it's not just the best out of you. Someone you love will also bring the worst out of you to help you, work on those things. Because when you love someone so much, they also annoy you a lot more, because they bring those things up. When they annoy you, you're expecting a lot more from them. You're expecting them to be perfect. The same thing with you starting to date yourself. When you start dating yourself, there will be a lot of things that you will see. There'll be a lot of things that will come up and you'll be like, I don't really like this aspect of myself. Let me change it because I'm in love with myself. I don't really like this aspect of myself. Let me work on it because I'm in love with myself. When you love someone, you make them happy. You do the best thing you can do to the best of your ability to make them happy. It's the same thing when you love yourself. When you love yourself, you do everything you can in your power to make yourself happy, to make yourself healthy, to make yourself the best version that you can be. So make that choice today and start dating you. Now, the second category of the people that I mentioned before are people who have traits that makes them vulnerable to people who are toxic and they use that opportunity to misuse them and break their hearts. Now, let's discuss these traits, because I feel like sometimes we don't know ourselves, we don't know our qualities. It's important for us to know ourselves, our qualities, our shortcomings, and everything about us. But I don't think that it's always a straightforward thing to do. I feel like sometimes we struggle with our identity. We struggle to get to know who we really are in Christ and who we really are in relationships, in our families. But today I'm going to remind you of a few traits that you have that make you vulnerable to people who are toxic. The first thing I want to say is that you attract toxic people because you are a positive person. You see, toxic people always live their life in the dark. There's always something going on with them. There's always, something that people have to feel sorry for them for. And because of that, they hunger to be around positive people, because they have to use other people's positivity as a break, as a breath of fresh air to relax their mind a bit, to come out of the darkness of their lives. So if you're a positive person, you're definitely a vulnerable person to a toxic person. Number 2, you're compassionate. Toxic people like people to feel sorry for themselves, and compassionate people are people who show empathy to everyone. So if a toxic person realizes that you are compassionate, they're going to grab onto you because that's what they live for. They live for people feeling sorry for them. And because of your empathy, they're definitely going to cling on to you. Number 3, toxic people love people who are good listeners. Now, if you're a good listener, you're definitely going to be vulnerable for toxic people to be attracted to you, because toxic people love to talk about themselves. Life is always about them. In fact, life revolves about them. It's always them that are sad. It's always them that are the victim. It's always them that are experiencing one thing or the other. So if you're a good listener, listen, they will grab onto you, hold on to you, because they want you to spend the rest of your life listening to their misery, listening to their life stories, and all of that stuff. Number 4, you are not a confrontational person. You see, toxic people like to push people over. And if you're the kind of person that will not confront situations, you are the best candidate for a toxic person to be with, because they will use you and push you over and do whatever they like with you, and they know that you're not going to retaliate. Number 5, you're the kind of person that like to help other people. You see, toxic people always want people to fix them. Okay, they want people, just like I was. You're looking for people to fix you, to fix the issues that you're going through. Now, if you're the kind of person that like to help other people, they're going to capitalize on that and make you the doctor of their lives. And number 6, you are too generous. Toxic people love to take. And the more they take, the more they want. And if you're the kind of person that is generous and likes to give, it definitely makes you vulnerable to a toxic person, and they're attracted to you, and they would want to be with you because they know that they will take and suck you dry. The reason why I've listed those qualities is to firstly remind you of who you are, of the qualities that you have, or to even let you know about the qualities that you have, because some people don't know who they are. You know, when I'm saying all these things, I'm sure some of you are thinking, oh yeah, I'm actually a good listener. Oh yeah, I'm actually very compassionate. It's to remind you of who you are, the qualities that you have, or to tell you of who you are. I need you to know that your light is what attracts toxic people. Toxic people are deeply hopeless, miserable, joyless. They need to be around people with light to feel better and to feel important. So the reason why they're attracted to you is because they are jealous of how brightly you shine, which makes them want to leech onto that light and perhaps get some light for themselves. So you might listen to me and say, well, maybe I need to turn my light off. Maybe I need to dim it down. Maybe I need to tone it down. Or maybe I need to start acting like them so that they don't take advantage of me. And that's absolutely wrong. You need to keep shining. You need to shine even brighter. However, you need to make yourself aware of the qualities or the traits that you have that makes you vulnerable to toxic people. Every time you find yourself feeling drained and exhausted after talking to someone or after having a conversation with someone, you need to analyze that situation. You need to pay attention to that relationship with that person to make sure that that person is not toxic, because toxic people will drain you, because all they do is take, they don't give. All they do is take and pull you down. So if you find yourself in a situation whereby you're talking to someone, or you've been talking to someone, you're getting to know someone, and every time you guys speak, you're always left drained, it's time. You need to protect your light. Don't allow anyone misuse your light. So what am I saying? I'm saying that you're single because you're allowing your qualities or these traits make you vulnerable to people who are toxic, so that they can take and take even more out of you. There's nothing wrong with you having all these qualities, but you need to set boundaries. You need to know when to give and when not to give. You need to know when to say stop and when to say, I can give a bit more. You need to be in control of your qualities. You need to understand your qualities and know that not everybody is deserving of your time and your energy. Please make sure that you monitor yourself, your feeling, your emotions every time you're having a conversation with a guy or a girl that you're getting to know. Pay attention to that, because that is when God is speaking to you. That is when you can pick up signs about whether you can be with that person or not. But you need to also focus on knowing your qualities, accepting your qualities, owning your qualities, and setting boundaries for yourself. You see, me, I know who I am now, and I don't put my energy into everyone. I give my energy to people who deserve it. I give my energy to people who give something to me back. I don't always give to people that don't give. And honestly, I don't mind giving to those people, but they're definitely last on my list. Before I give them my attention, I need to give attention to people who deserve it. And that's called setting boundaries. You need to know when to set boundaries. You need to know when to give and not to give. So you're probably single because you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention to how these people are mistreating you. So you end up dating the same kind of people. If you look at the 5 people that you have dated, they all have the same traits. And that's because there's something about you that they're hungry for. There's something about you that they need to take, and they take so much that they leave you empty, they leave you drained, and they leave you heartbroken. So start focusing on not allowing your qualities make you vulnerable to people who are toxic. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget, this year is still our year of shining. We're going to shine in every area of our lives. I'm going to sign out for now, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. God bless. Bye. Mwah.